and welcome to Vietnam Journal, our daily English news bulletin on NETVIET VTC10. I'm Ngọc Anh speaking from Hanoi. Every day we'll bring you comprehensive and up-to-date information about Vietnam, and following our major stories on Tuesday. Real estate tops FDI attraction in Vietnam. Vietnam to reduce import taxes from April the 1st. And we'll visit a traditional Vietnamese pottery village. Vietnam has registered 1.23 billion US dollars of foreign direct investment or FDI in March, equaling the total registered FDI of the previous 2 months. The real estate sector took the lead in attracting the foreign capital in the first quarter with 1.2 billion US dollars.
With the 1.2 billion US dollar Tokyo Bình Dương Garden City project, the real estate sector took the lead in attracting foreign direct investment or FDI in the first 3 months of the year. Processing and manufacturing industries ranked second with 51 newly licensed projects and 25 operational projects registering to increase capital, capitalized at 1.17 billion US dollars, accounting for 44.6% of the total registered investment capital. It is estimated that Vietnam has disbursed 2.52 billion US dollars in FDI in the first quarter, equivalent to 99.2% of the same period last year. In March alone, FDI disbursement reached 1.52 billion US dollars.
Vietnam has issued 4 circulars on import tax reductions for a number of items. The tax cuts are part of the ASEAN-Japan Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement and the Vietnam-Japan Economic Partnership Agreement in the 2012-2015 period that will take effect on April the 1st.
Under the circulars of HACEP, some government and textile supporting items will be reduced from 13 to 9% in the next 2 years. Taxes on electronic goods will be axed from 5 to 2.5% in 2014, and several types of digital cameras will even be free from the import tax. Household items such as bathtubs, basins, and kitchen utensils will also enjoy tax cuts from 19% in 2012 to 14% in 2014. To be eligible for the new tax rates, commodities must be imported from free trade agreement member nations and be transported directly from the exporting country with a valid certificate of origin.
And following is some other economic news in brief.
The Japanese group Coca-Cola is providing the Vietnamese company Hanel with the technology to produce the world's first third-generation lithium-ion batteries from magnesium extracted from seawater. This is the most advanced technology in the field, and it is being transferred solely to Vietnam. Every rechargeable battery of this type manufactured by Hanel will be shipped to Japan. Indonesian state-owned pharmaceutical company PT Kimia Pharma is planning to expand its business reach into Vietnam in an attempt to anticipate movement in the Southeast Asian market. Kimia Pharma President Director Siamsul Arifin said that the company will soon begin negotiations with various Vietnamese companies to decide what forms of business they might undertake in Vietnam. The expansion to Vietnam will deepen Kimia Pharma's presence in other countries after it had previously entered the Malaysian market. Vietnam Food Association or VFA recently announced that at the present the country has signed contracts to export 3.2 million tons of rice, mainly to countries such as the Philippines, Indonesia and Malaysia. The duration of export contracts signed this year will last until the end of 2012. Vietnam has exported over 800,000 tons of rice worth over 553 million US dollars. It is expected that in the first quarter of this year, Vietnam will export from 1 to 1.1 million tons of rice.
Japanese small and medium-sized enterprises, or SMEs, are heading out of their local market due to many inner problems of the third largest economy in the world. Vietnam is having a good chance to attract their investment. However, there is a question of whether Vietnam can improve its investment environment in order to meet the requirements of the Japanese investors.
A workshop on how to attract Japanese SME into Vietnam to develop the supporting industry has recently taken place in Hanoi. Participants agree that is an avoidable trend in which many Japanese companies, including SMEs, are turning to emerging countries as their new manufacturing base.
Japanese companies want to go out of Japan and invest mainly in Southeast Asia or India. Some companies go out in order to develop, but the other companies go out just to survive. Otherwise, if they stay in Japan, they will not survive and then they have to go bankrupt. I think the situation got very, very bad in the last 2 years or so. Because of Lehman shock, the global recession, the Japanese long recession, high yen, and other things. After the earthquake, we had the power shortage. And the long-term problem is a structural problem.
Professor Kinichi Honor, director of Vietnam development firm, said Vietnam was not the only country trying to lure Japanese investment in manufacturing and industrialization. Vietnam is in touch competition with neighboring countries.
I think last year many Japanese companies, especially the smaller ones, started to come, and I think this trend will continue this year. But in the long run, whether Japanese companies will choose Vietnam or Thailand or Indonesia or Myanmar or India or even the Philippines is still unclear.
A survey involving 55 Japanese SMEs showed that 75% choose Vietnam as a production site, 55% aim at domestic sales in Vietnam, and 27.8% other country for input procurement. The survey was conducted by the Osaka Chamber of Commerce and Industry in January. The northern province of Vĩnh Phúc is one of the leading regions in Vietnam to prepare for the Japanese investment wave. With solid geology, the province is an ideal location for machinery manufacturing. Vĩnh Phúc has successfully attracted many foreign companies, including 2 Japanese giants named Toyota and Honda. That is an advantage to boost the local supporting industry, which is normally the mainstream sector for SME here.
Thì cái này thì chúng tôi đã chuẩn bị cách đây 3 năm. Và đến giờ phút này thì đã có một số diện tích trong cái lúc nãy báo cáo, đó là 10 ha dành riêng cho khu công nghiệp phụ trợ. Đó là có thể đối với các doanh nghiệp từ 300 m2 cho đến 1.000 m2, có thể là chúng tôi sẽ san ra trong cái diện tích mà nhà xưởng có sẵn là trên 2.000 m2. Đồng thời là làm thêm những cái văn phòng để có thể dành cho cái việc là các doanh nghiệp có thể làm văn phòng để mà thuận lợi nhất cho cái việc đầu tư.
Vĩnh Phúc has shown their initial success in attracting Japanese investors. However, in order to maintain the traction in long terms, the province as well as many other regions of Vietnam is suggested to improve its infrastructures, utilities, and the human resources.
Vietnam Journal. It's not just news, it's life in Vietnam.
Welcome back to our news bulletin. A YCine Double F online screening and conference took place recently in Paris with the theme Believe. The online short film festival was aimed at connecting young filmmakers and bringing Vietnamese cinema to the world.
The festival in Paris screened 5 awarded short films in YCine FF 2011 and the Vietnamese famous film Be Don't Be Afraid. At the festival, filmmakers and audiences from Vietnam and Paris also discussed the topics of Vietnamese cinema integrating in the world and the future for young Vietnamese filmmakers. This YCine FF online screening is one of the events promoting the YCine FF 2012, which starts this fall. YCine is a short film festival held by a group of young Vietnamese filmmakers with the goal to introduce new films to the international audience.
An Indian troupe performing Odissi, one of the 8 classical dance forms of India, will perform in Vietnam from April the 4th to the 7th. The Indian artists will dance in Vietnam's 2 big cities of Hanoi and Haiphong.
The 26-member troupe will perform poems and songs by the world-renowned poet, musician, philosopher and painter Rabindranath Tagore. The Indian dancer will wear traditional costume designed and worn by Tagore's family since the 19th century. Odissi, originating from the eastern Indian state of Odisha, is the country's oldest surviving dance form. The Indian Odissi troupe first performed in Vietnam in 2008. Performances of the Indian troupe in Hanoi and Haiphong City are co-organized by the Embassy of India in Vietnam and Vietnam's Performing Arts Agency.
Thành Artistic Pottery Village is one of many traditional craft villages in Vietnam's northern province of Hà Nam. Let's follow our NETVIET VTC10 reporter to explore the pottery items of this locality.
The Thanh Pottery Village is located in the center of Hue, next to the peaceful Dai River, about 4 kilometers away from Phu Lý city to the west. Local people call their craft the one that makes clay bloom with their adroitness to create useful items for their daily life. Clay is the material used for making pottery. As potters in Thanh say, good clay must be yellow and sticky. The clay is often brought from communes like Ngọc Sơn, Đồng Hóa and Kim Binh. Artistic pottery has to go through different steps like processing raw material, shaping and enameling. Yellow clay, which has been carefully cleaned, is the required material. Plaster molds are also needed. There are different types of molds for different details of the product. A slip is poured into the mold. After that, the product is dried and smoothened.
Có thể nói đây là cái công đoạn chuốt của một cái bình gốm đúng không ạ? Vâng. Cái công đoạn này chắc là công đoạn gần như là công đoạn cuối cùng để trước khi cho vào lò đúng không ạ?
Chưa, cái này nó nhiều công đoạn lắm. Xong một cái sản phẩm này nâng lên đặt xuống nó phải 15-20 công đoạn cơ.
The next step is smoothening. After that, products are colored with a kind of red stone. It is taken from the foot of the hill, especially the bright red ones in sunken areas. Wood and coal brought from nearby communes are used for firing. Potters burn coal first to dry their products and then fire wood.
Lò muốn đẹp ấy là than củi là quan trọng nhất. Mà củi phải củi khô, đấy, mà củi tốt, củi chắc, đấy, thì nó cái hàng của mình nó mới đẹp được, nó ít cái muội. Thì nếu như củi mà tạp nhá, thì trong khi anh đun thì cái muội nó bám cái hàng của anh, hàng không bóng không sáng được. Nên trong các nghề nghiệp của người ta làm ăn ấy, thì các lò nhá, người ta đều biết hết. Nhưng những người không biết nhá, thì củi nào cũng giống củi nào không phải. Củi nhãn thì nó lại khác, củi vải lại khác, nhưng củi vàng lại khác.
Though there are a lot of ups and downs, Thanh Pottery Village has still developed quickly. The pottery craft has brought a plentiful life and has become the pride of the Thanh people.
The story about the Pottery Village has wrapped up our news bulletin today. For comments and feedbacks, please send us an email to netvietdaily@gmail.com. Thank you for watching and we will see you again tomorrow.